Hey, so I'm sure you've heard of Michelangelo, right? Mike, Big M. You've probably seen some of his paintings, which have made him famous all throughout Italy during the Italian Renaissance and the entire world. But I bet you didn't know that he killed some guy over a tennis match and beat some other guy with a stick, but more on that later. After his parents died from the plague and a lot of mental trauma, he was taken under the wing of big rich man Lorenzo de' Medici and raised under lots of money and also Catholic faith. In 1492, Michelangelo was an official sculptor with official responsibilities to officiate a lot of chapels. Most of his time went into sculpting sculptures for the chapels, mainly of various popes, and then he would sculpt some more, keep sculpting, sculpt a little more, get arrested a couple of times, go back to sculpting, and that basically loops in one way or another for the rest of his life. At this point, Michelangelo had a pretty good resume, and more churches were eager to work with him. Despite his criminal record, the Pope himself now decided to commission Michelangelo for a second time to complete one of the biggest artistic projects ever, painting the roof of the Sistine Chapel. Michelangelo didn't like the prospects of the job, telling the Pope, "I am a sculptor, not a painter." Their conversation went a bit like this. "Hey, Michelangelo, Caravaggio. Can I call you Caravaggio? Please don't." "Great, so anyways, I hear you're a devout Catholic and somewhat of an artist, and it's also come to my attention that you were the one who helped with my tomb." "Yeah? So I was wondering if you could do a paint job for me. I'm a sculptor. And I'm the Pope, both things we already knew, so what about it?" "No." "What do you mean no?" "I mean I don't want to do it, just ask Raphael instead, I'm sure he's more of what you're looking for." Oh boy, you seem to misunderstand here. I'm the Pope, leader of the most powerful church in the... Alright, listen here, bucko. I'm a very busy man, and frankly, I have a couple of unfinished chapels I need to attend to, alright? If you thought you could just waltz over to me and tell me what you want to happen, you'd be more than mistaken, because I can guarantee you would never catch me dead! So Michelangelo accepted the job, and at the speed of light itself, ran over to the Vatican and got to work. It was at this point that Michelangelo realized how great being friends with the Pope was. He realized all of the benefits of hanging around Big Julius II, being on the Pope's good side, can only end well. At least in this instance. I mean, it's the Pope. It's like being friends with Obama, but better. And so, Michelangelo arrived at the Sistine Chapel, brush in hand and ready to work. "Hey, glad you can make it. How was your first day?" "Ow! Oh, okay. Wow, painting like that all day really hurts." "Sure hope this doesn't stretch out for like 4 years or something." "Yeah, sure hope painting all day like this doesn't take a massive physical toll on my body, leaving me partially disabled for the rest of my life. Wouldn't that be a shame?" Wait, who are you talking to? I said, wouldn't it be a shame? So after 4 long years of pain and frustration, Michelangelo finally finished the roof of the Sistine Chapel. The completion of this project would be the most valuable cornerstone of his career, cementing him as not only one of the greatest artists of the Italian Renaissance, but of the world to this day. If you know anything about art, you'll know how much of a pioneer this guy was, especially in the fields of shading, light sources, and color dynamics. For most of the guy's life, he was a fugitive from justice, and many of his best-known works were created with him on the run. After committing countless felonies that I couldn't find a credible list for, that included killing a man or two, assaulting people with swords, and, beating some guy up with a stick, he's still recognized as a hero, not just to inspiring artists, but all people who are lucky enough to come by and see his work. Unfortunately, though, after the completion of the Sistine Chapel, he was still left with less than perfect arms after he finished it. So near the end of his life, he transitioned heavily to poetry as an output or art form. In the last line of one of his most famous poems, Sonnet to John of Pistoia on the Sistine Ceiling, he said, and I quote, "I'm not in a good place, and I'm no painter." This quote, in my opinion, is a great representation of how he lived his life, and how he thought of himself and his work. So I really like it. During this project, I learned a lot of cool things about Michelangelo, most notably how to spell Michelangelo, which is a feat in of itself. Other than that, he died in 1564, so that's pretty sad.